And we've done segments about decommitment season, and they don't really interest me right now because I'm more interested in how they're building the classes. But we're also talking about college football. And the thing about college football that is so wild about 2020 is we've already had 2 autonomous 5 leagues decide they're only going to play each other. We've also seen Kansas get added to Southern Illinois slate because their game with Wisconsin's not, and they're going to get paid $300,000 for that. I made this segment, and I continue to do this segment in that there's room for something here now for the Big 12. Because with the Pac-12 losing its game with Alabama, USC, and Ohio State, Big 10, you can see how the Big 12 wanting to keep all 12 games and possibly even play their full assortment, depending on how it goes, can actually help them close the gap when we're talking about competitive balance here. However, the problem for the Big 12 is the problem that it's always been, which is you got to have a team that wins a playoff game. And seeing as Oklahoma's been the only playoff representative from the Big 12 in the playoff era, you're also saying that Oklahoma's got to win that game. So it's a little bit farther down the road, but when we're talking about the money, there's a little bit here because the Big Ten's already losing money just by going to a conference-only slate, right? Despite what you might think or might not think about COVID. Where I go from there is, how does the COVID testing continue to work and the 6 feet of social distance continue to work in a sport that is designed not to socially distance? Football is designed for people to clash into each other. That is the point of it. And we're going to try to play through this somehow. Like, I saw this photo on ESPN of Mac Brown holding like a 6-foot piece of PVC pipe between players with his mask on. I'm going, is that what we're doing? That's what y'all think is going to work? I don't think that's going to work, dog. I mean, it's nice, but I don't think that's going to work. And seeing as we're still hard charging toward football season, we're going to see how this goes because the NBA is probably going to be able to pull this thing off if anybody's able to pull this thing off because they've already decided that this clean environment, this bubble, is their way to go. And they put a bunch of protocols in place to make sure that this thing can happen for the next 3 months. But that's only with 350 people they got to watch for. That includes like media. That includes NBA people. That includes the players. College football, not so. College football takes place on college campuses. There's so many legal hurdles here, and there's so many bad looks here. Talk with the Norman Mayor about what's going on in that city, 3rd largest city in the state of Oklahoma. And, you know, there's a small college there called University of Oklahoma. It's also a little football team called the Sooners. And she was talking about, hey, look, I love the kids, but having 20,000 people descend on my city is not necessarily going to help the COVID numbers. Yeah. And then those players that have been in this clean atmosphere got to commingle with students that have not been in that clean atmosphere. And you're going to have haves and have-nots, and that's going to be a bad look. Because 1, nobody wants to get sick. 2, any of those players get sick, you got contact tracing. If you got contact tracing, that means that you probably got in multiple of players that are sick or at least positive. And even if they're not sick, they're positive. And if they're positive, you talk about 14 days of quarantine. If that hits a quarter of your football team, you're going to get destroyed on Saturday because, yo, man, the horse is out the barn. You're not going to be able to just not play football because you're going to want to be able to put that football on television so you can get that television money, which means that you could go out there with like 60 players and get drummed by Kansas if you're Oklahoma. It's just a bad week because the kids got to go to school with each other. Now, there are also these socially distancing parts of this that I find to be pretty interesting because I don't think it's going to work. You're going to try to tell me that you're going to have online classes where the kids stay in their dorms? Why wouldn't I just stay at home? What am I actually paying for? What scholarship are you actually trying to give me? I don't think that joint gonna work. Meanwhile, in the NFL, they still don't know exactly what they're doing. Pat Mahomes has stopped chirping about how unsafe he might feel and reminded that you getting paid $500 million to play football, dog, for the Kansas City Chiefs. Maybe you want to calm down. Maybe you want to shut up. And Jamal Adams is being traded to the Seattle Seahawks for their firstborn, their secondborn, their fifthborn, the unwed child of their third-generation sire. I mean, that trade's so stupid. Jamal Adams is great, but he ain't no 2 first-round picks and a third. I mean, stupid. The NFL, right? I'm also looking at this from the standpoint of what does football look like in 2021? Because nobody wants to play spring football because nobody wants to leave money on the table, even as there is no money on the table, okay? Or there's money left the table. So we're talking about like Barry Alvarez talking in Wisconsin, is the Wisconsin athletic director, saying he's going to lose $100 million this year with a conference-only schedule. $100 million. They make $130-40 million from football. Okay, that's their football revenue. They had to stop renovations on Camp Randall, which, you know, we all make jokes and it's cool that Camp Randall sways, but it ain't a good thing. It's a thing that you need to get fixed. Same thing happened at DKR. DKR, they were doing renovations on one side of their end zone. Had to stop it right as the COVID started. And then you've had social justice in the middle of this, Black Lives Matter. And Black Lives Matter has led to Joe Jamel Field being renamed Campbell Williams Field after the only 2 Heisman winners at Texas, who happened to be black tailbacks named Ricky Williams and Earl Campbell. Okay? That said, like, the other part that I wanted to do this read for was, what do y'all want to talk about? I mean, I'm here for y'all. Like, that's why the chat is in here. Trey Welch over here, yo, you the bomb. Get Joel Clatt on here. Joel's busy. Joel is welcome to call me or let me call him anytime he wants. But as I understand it, Joel's busy. I love to talk to Joel. I like talking to Joel. Joel's fun. Let me see. AG. So is this OU and Ohio State champ? Okay. Pipe down. I blocked a lot of people in June. Let's try to prevent all of that. Okay? Let's be kind. Let's be nice. Okay? Anybody can get it. I'm just saying. Anybody can get it. Sean Stapleton, been on this channel for a very long time. So OU gonna lose out on KD and its 3rd straight top DB prospect. Looking that way, dog. Looking that way. It's not gonna be a good look. And if it happens, we will have things to say about it. But be the 3rd straight top safety that Oklahoma hadn't got. It would be Kendall Daniels. It'd be Josh Proctor, who's at Ohio State, and it'd be Dax Hill at Michigan. That's what it is. Let me see. So Jerry and Stephen Jones dropped the ball on Jamal Adams. They ain't got nothing to give. What are they going to give the Jets for Jamal Adams? They ain't got nothing to give them. Like, they're not even in that sweepstakes. They don't have anything that the Jets want. They don't. Let me see. What's Chad doing? Yeah, okay. Yeah, y'all do y'all Ohio, Michigan thing. I'm from Oklahoma, dog. I'm from Tulsa. Oh, speaking of which, I probably need to break this out and like make this into like a separate video. But I think I'm going to do stickers. Like RJ Young Show stickers that I'm probably going to sell. Probably going to give a few away. But the milestone is coming up here pretty soon. We're going to be getting to 50,000 subscribers, which is bonkers to me. Especially as this is not a highlight channel. Like, this is a commentary channel. This is a talk show. I remember, like, even now, I got people like, yo, man, play the highlights over the top of your stuff. Like, no, this ain't that kind of channel. You want that? Go check out some other channel that does that. But, like, for us to be able to get to 50,000 subscribers off a talk show around college football, we got to celebrate that. So I'm gonna make some stickers. Probably throw a party or something, too. Let me see. What we got? What are your thoughts on Gentry Williams? Best prospect in the state of Oklahoma in 2022. He plays quarterback at Booker T, but he probably plays defensive back and or wide receiver at the next level. Getting the offer from LSU was quite literally expected. All right? Got an offer from Oklahoma like a year ago. We'll see how much that matters. It ain't exactly been great for Oklahoma going into Booker T of late. I mean, the last big-time recruit they were able to score, Dominique Alexander. Okay? You know? And it ain't like Booker T has been that great for Oklahoma of late either. I mean, it's hard to get Oklahoma to come to Tulsa anyway. And when they do, they usually go to Union or Jinx. And then they get mad when they don't get Justice Hill or Dax Hill. And I'm like, gotta recruit people. I mean, Not for nothing, but Tyler Lockett went to Kansas State. I know Jinx, but like Booker T too. Felix Jones, Booker T went to Arkansas. Robert Meacham went to Tennessee. You know, we can keep going here because I got time. And y'all know I got all these facts about high school football in green country. But yeah, that was expected. Gentry Williams, here's my thing about Gentry. Gentry's future is actually in the Olympics. Like, that's what the decision is going to be. He is the fastest true freshman 400-meter sprinter that I have ever seen, like with my own two eyes. And he has the ability to race for the gold in like 4 years. Okay? If that's what he wanted to do, football ain't going to help him do that. Xavier Carter can tell you all about how football goes when you're trying to be a 400-meter sprinter. It ain't a good look. It ain't going to be that much fun. You're going to put on weight, you're going to lose weight. Trenton Holiday famously skipped out on a chance to go to the Olympics so he could get to training camp at LSU and return kicks. I can't get behind that joint. Stop that.